Welcome to the Industrial Talk Podcast with Scott MacKenzie. Scott is a passionate industry professional dedicated to transferring cutting-edge, industry-focused innovations and trends while highlighting the men and women who keep the world moving. So put on your hard hat, grab your work boots, and let's go.
All right, once again, thank you very much for joining Industrial Talk, and thank you for continuing your support of the platform that celebrates industry professionals all around the world. You are bold, you are brave, you dare greatly, you innovate, you collaborate, you solve problems, and therefore you are truly making the world a better place. We here at Industrial Talk appreciate your efforts. All right, we're on site, DistribuTech, a lot of buzz happening here, Orlando, Florida, and it is, again, I say it all the time, a collection of problem solvers. That's what they do, and they're trying to make, definitely, solutions and innovations all around here. That's what they do. All right, in the hot seat, we have a gentleman by the name of Marcelo. The company is Bluefin, and we're going to be talking about, Marcelo?
Data centers.
Yeah, there he is. All right, let's get cracking.
Power and data centers.
Having a good conference?
Having a great conference.
It's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah. A lot of buzz. A lot of buzz. I think it's back to sort of pre-COVID levels. I would say even beyond that. Because,
really?
Yeah, right now we're seeing a lot of intersections between electrification of vehicles and you know the space that I occupy, which is more in the data center space. It's just a race to get power and a race to, it's just not enough power. Not enough power,
isn't it? I was hearing stats like 3 times. We're going to need
3X.
3 times 3x. There it is. That's the mantra. I think it's conservative. I think it's going to be more.
Yeah, I mean, so some of the stats, even recently I've been looking at how much energy each AI search takes. So say, for example, now you're on Bing or on Google, you type in your search. All of those platforms are going to be running AI generated responses. And each one of those responses takes enough energy that could power your cell phone 7 times over.
Yeah, see,
so it's a lot of power.
Yeah, see, I absolutely understand exactly what you're saying. Couple of sort of foundationals. First, tell us a little bit about Marcelo.
Yeah, so I'm actually, I grew up in Canada.
Whereabouts?
Toronto.
Oh, all my family's from Hamilton.
Oh, no way, okay.
Way.
Well, if you're from Hamilton, then I should clarify. Toronto is the GTA is where I grew up in, but the actual city was Mississauga, which is right outside. Close to Hamilton.
Yeah. Burlington, right on up there.
Yeah. So my family's still up there, but I moved down to Pittsburgh, lived there for a little bit, and then now I live in Virginia, which is Data Center Alley. So Virginia, where I live, is Northern Virginia, is 80% of the world traffic for internet goes through Northern Virginia.
Hold. Say that stat again. 80%?
80% of internet traffic for the world goes through Northern Virginia.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
How does Virginia deal with the load?
A ton of data centers.
I didn't know that.
Yes. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, there are other tier 1 markets that are popping up, like you have Arizona, you have Ohio, and other towns, Atlanta, maybe North Carolina. But Virginia is still by far the highest concentration of data centers, to the point that there's not enough power anymore. Right?
There isn't. And it's only going to get, there's going to be greater demand. It just is. Just because of what we're talking about here at DistribuTech and the necessity to be able to have that data available as fast as you possibly can imagine.
Right.
And it's not just little spurts of data, it's mega data.
Yeah. The 5G, the edge. Yeah.
Tell us about Bluefin, what that company's all
So
about.
we started as a sales rep for manufacturers, and we were primarily representing General Electric, GE. And then we've sort of morphed, to your point on how we were introducing the show, is solutions driven. And so that's the space that I try to occupy most right now in the data center space, which is trying to solve problems that they're facing now with an electrical hat on, right? And so, if we talk about power for the data center world, which is the problem that we're trying to solve right now, specifically in the AI space. The power signature for these workloads, for these AI workloads, is so aggressive that it creates a lot of reactive power. And so if you want to think about, power is going through the lines, sure, but you have a little bit of reactive and real power. Real power is what you can actually use, what powers your computer, what you can profit from. Reactive power, you can think of it as unusable, inefficient, right? And so it just happens that the characteristics of the chips that are powering AI do create a lot of these disturbances and inefficiencies in the lines. And so it's a problem for the utilities, and it's a problem for the data centers.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's the sort of niche market that we're trying to help solve right now, and creating solutions that can mitigate and correct that power signature. So
clearly it's happening. It needs to be more efficient. Did you see, just all of a sudden, and this just thought came to mind, where ChatGPT hit? And it was like a switch.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden that was the tipping point from my perspective that sort of just
catapulted.
It did. Yeah. Did you see sort of that increase in energy and all of that associated with that? How do you see that?
It's happening at such a fast pace that utilities are not known for how quickly they move. And they're talking to data center hyperscalers, say, Microsoft, Google, all these guys that are perhaps used to moving faster than the utilities are. So that gap is a constant pain point that we're trying to address. And it is, you're really trying to solve problems that were not here 3-4 years ago, right? And so it's got to be an adoption of technology that addresses that issue that is very new, and convincing these large utilities or large organizations to adopt these technologies and how to implement those technologies is the key. And so I think these really new and fast problems that are coming up are really shifting the mindset of utilities and the mindset of say, these big hyperscalers to adopt more of a partnership standpoint. So rather than say the data center guys going up to a utility and saying, "Sell me power, come on, give me power."
Right.
They're really, it's not available. So really, they got to work together with the utility to say, how do we improve transmission, or how do we improve generation?
The reality is that I don't think that, given the complexities that exist out there in just the energy market, just the power, the utilities, what's going on here, it requires it requires collaboration. There's no other options.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's what we keep seeing. It's really looking for synergies or a symbiotic relationship between the two, right? Utilities also profit from having a constant customer that it has consistent.
It's pretty load.
Yeah.
It's a consistent load. It might just itch up as time goes on. Yes.
Right.
But the reality is that it.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, if you look at the speed at which adoption has taken over, to your point, it's fascinating. I mean, you look at industrialization; it took several decades, perhaps. Then you have the computer; it took maybe several years. But now with AI, it's almost in the month, several months to have large adoption, and everywhere now. I have it on my phone. It's crazy.
Yeah, that begets all the other the moral implications associated with AI and the good, the bad, the ugly, and as AI begins to demand more and more and more, we just got to be nimble. Where do you see it going, Marcelo? How do you deal with that? What solutions do you provide that help us deal with these problems?
So again, the biggest thing for such a large power demand is going to be power quality. So that's probably, so power quality addresses efficiency. You could think of it that way.
Yeah.
And so there are tons of inefficiencies in the transmission lines, for example. So if you could fix inefficiency in the transmission lines by improving power quality, you will be able to get, you can think of being able to get more juice out of a squeeze, right? And so that is the name of the game, and that is the most immediate results that you could have. The fastest results that you could have is through improvements in efficiency. It takes a long time to build a power plant. All of these projects take a long time, but looking at efficiency and improving that is probably one of the quickest things you could do.
How does Bluefin fit into that? How do you fit into that?
So Bluefin was founded back in 2015. All the owners of Bluefin have an engineering background, and so what we'd like to do is, use our experience with our main lines that we have, and come up with solutions that address the problem at hand, right? So it's really, we're almost like backwards. We come across our customers, we're presented with a problem, and then we go back to our toolbox and say, well, how can we solve this problem, right? Sometimes it's implementing, like for example, using UPSs, rotary UPSs, to reintroduce inertia into the grid and be able to correct for some of that reactive power. That strategy alone is you're implementing technology that has been around for decades, maybe 100 years. So it's not new technology, it's tried and true. We know exactly what it is. It's just up until this point, the problem wasn't there that needed this solution. So the technology existed, it was just not implemented in this specific application. And so, it's really creative engineering, if you want to call it that, that we try to bring to our customers and say, hey, this will solve your problem, right? And so it's sort of like a Venn diagram where the necessity of the customer meets our engineering, know-how, and then also meets the driver, which is in this case the demand for power and the pain point that the customers are experiencing.
Fascinating. It's way above my pay grade, quite frankly. Just because I look at what's taking place in the market today, the dynamic, the innovation, the acceleration of the, and it seems like there's a disconnect between these, like people are talking about, net zero, fine, but that's a heck of a target, and people are trying to pursue that. But then we have all of this 3x requirements. It's only a software or a innovation solution, because I don't see how, and how these participants, yes, collaborate, yes, do all of that. That's all important, but to be able to, you can't do it without collaborating.
Right.
You've got to have that conversation.
Yeah, the model has to change.
The model has to change dramatically.
Yeah, and the life cycle, for example, high voltage substations that power these data centers, right? A lot of the times it would take 5, 6, 7 years to get one of these substations installed and commissioned and powering the data centers. But they need it in 1 year. They need the substation in a year. So a lot of the times you have the customers, in this case data centers, going to the utility saying, no, I'll build the substation. I'll pay for it. Just give me the power.
Right.
And I'll pay for it, right? So again, I hate using a cliche word, but it's disruptive. It goes against the norm, right? And so if you want to, like you said, acceleration is so fast that you have to change that. You have to change the norm.
How do you, how long have you been at this?
Couple of years. And specifically dedicated to this?
Yeah.
Yep.
And have you seen so much, just drastic changes that have happened as a result of this?
Huge. huge. I mean, AI wasn't that big
Yeah.
of a thing 2 years ago, right? It was very nascent, and now it's in everybody's mind.
Yeah.
Right. It's in everybody's mind, and it's not going away. It's not going away.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting. It's very interesting, and one of the fascinating things for me as well is that it's something that people can. It's palpable, right? People can see every day how much it is improving, right? And it's solving real life problems. Like, for example, I think 2 days ago I heard this conversation between some executive in Hollywood who completely shut off their production and said, we're not going to spend any more money because now we have an AI machine that could create all these environments for us, so digitally. So,
wow.
It's going to impact so many different industries.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do people get a hold of you?
Website, we have bluefinesi.com.
Say that again?
Bluefin, like the fish.
Are you out on LinkedIn?
Yeah.
What's your last name?
Lorenzo.
Lorenzo. That's Marcelo Lorenzo.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure. Well, you were absolutely spectacular.
Thank you,
Time
Scott.
flew by. Big time. All right, listeners, we're going to have all the contact information for Marcelo out on Industrial Talk, so fear not, reach out to him, because it is a collaboration game. You can't do it on your own. You need to collaborate with individuals that are true Sherpas in what they do. There you go. Industrial Sherpa. All right. Very good. Thank you very much for joining. We're going to wrap it up on the other side. Stay tuned. We will be right back.
You're listening to the Industrial Talk Podcast Network.
All right, his name is Marcelo Lorenzo. The company is Bluefin. Make a note of that. And the event was DistribuTech. Also, put that on your calendar for 25. Is it really 25? Jeez. It's an amazing. All right. Once again, we're building a platform here at Industrial Talk. The Industrial Talk platform is about education. It's about collaboration. You can collaborate with any of the individuals on Industrial Talk. And, of course, innovation. It's happening. As you could tell by Marcelo's conversation around generative AI and how to solve those challenges, it's going to be impacting everybody. Everybody. All right. Get engaged. Be a part of Industrial Talk. Just go out to industrialtalk.com. Click on, connect with. And that would be me, of course. And then let's see how we can work together to help amplify your voice. To communicate what you do. Be bold, be brave, dare greatly. Hang out with Marcelo, and you're going to change the world. Have a great conversation shortly.